What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is new release review where I'm going to give you my honest thoughts and opinions about the brand new releases that have been coming out over the past month or so. Are they worth your time? But more importantly, are they worth your money? So we're going to start off today's episode talking about Rebel Without a Cause. Now, Rebel Without a Cause is a classic film, and that's the reason why I wanted to pick it up. I've never seen this movie before, and I was really looking forward to watching it. However, I'm going to be honest, because I'm real and honest on this channel, I can't fake anything. I fell asleep during this movie. I know, that's no surprise. I fall asleep during a lot of movies here on this channel. However, I can say, with Rebel, I was kind of bored. It's a little bit slow moving. Yes, there are highlights here and there, but overall, I was kind of just really not feeling this movie. But I'm gonna give it another chance. Maybe it was the mood I was in. Maybe I was overtired. I'm not really sure. But I'm definitely gonna keep the movie, give it another watch, another honest chance. But right now, after one watch, I will say the only people that I would, yes, definitely recommend this movie for are die-hard James Dean fans. Because as we know, James Dean, I believe, only made 3 movies, and then unfortunately, he passed away. And obviously, Rebel is one of them. So if you're a hardcore James Dean fan, then yes, pick this up, absolutely. But if this is a blind buy for you, you don't know who James Dean or Natalie Wood are, then do not pick this up full price. Wait for a sale. Definitely wait for a sale and save some money. But I am going to give it another chance. I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but first impression wasn't 100% of what I wanted it to be, but I am open for another viewing. There we go. What a great way to put it. Fantastic. All right, let's move on next to The Thing Prequel. This is the Walmart exclusive Steelbook. Let's just take a minute and check out the Steelbook because Walmart has really been stepping up their game as far as the Steelbooks are concerned. There we go. So if you have not picked up The Thing Prequel Steelbook from Walmart, I highly suggest that you do because it's only around $20 and I think it's worth it. So going into this film, I had never seen it before, so this was a never seen it, a first time watch for me. And of course, I'm going to compare it somewhat to the original Thing movie. I mean, how can you not? However, this is a prequel, so this is the events before the Kurt Russell film. This is well done. It's not a horrible movie. I had a great time watching it. I don't know what it was. I was in bed, had the blanket, comfy cozy, had one light on in my room, and I just really enjoyed it. I had a great time with it. Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Joel Edgerton are in this movie. I thought they were great together. It is a huge ensemble cast, but they are the bigger stars of the movie. And I feel like Mary Elizabeth Winstead is highly underrated. For some reason, she just doesn't really pop up in a lot of conversations, but I really enjoyed her in this movie. I had a good time with it. It's fun. It's a fun movie. It doesn't come close to the original Thing, but it's a prequel. It's kind of its own thing, if you know what I mean. No pun intended, no pun intended. So this was a good time. I highly recommend. Great looking Steelbook, and you can't beat the price at $20. So definitely pick up The Thing Prequel Steelbook. All right, let's move on next to Midnight Run on 4K. So I wasn't going to pick this one up initially, and then a ton of you were commenting, Susan, pick up Midnight Run. Do not miss out on this movie. So I listened to you guys, and I did. Total blind buy, never seen it before. So happy I picked this up. It's got a solid 4K transfer, I will say that. But most importantly, the comedy. The comedic timing, the dynamic between Robert De Niro and Charles Grodin in this movie, I absolutely loved and adored. I thought they were fantastic together. The ridiculous circumstances they were getting into together. It was just a great time. So definitely pick up Midnight Run. It's one of the best comedies out there. And it's great to see Robert De Niro in a different kind of role because we're used to seeing him in like Scorsese movies as a gangster, a mobster, you know, something serious. It's great to see Robert De Niro in a comedy but a smart comedy, not a goofy comedy, not a stupid comedy, a smart comedy. And that's what Midnight Run is. So definitely pick up Midnight Run. It has a thumbs up for Movies&Sue. So there you go. Is that like the new scale now? 2 thumbs up, 1 thumbs up? I have no clue. I'm just doing this off the cuff. Let's move on. Okay, this one is exciting because you guys, I don't even think know about this movie. It is called Surrogate. There is a story behind Surrogate. So the director of this film contacted me on Instagram. His name is David Willing. David Willing contacted me, sent me a private message to say, he watches my YouTube channel. I couldn't even believe it. Like, a director, what, watches my, who am I? I'm no one. Anyway, so David contacted me and offered to send me a copy of his film because obviously he wants to promote it, get the word out there. I said, sure, absolutely no problem. Now, I'm going to be honest, I was kind of hesitant because I wasn't really sure 100% about this movie, because when you hear of like independent films, they could be really good or go way left and be really, really horrible and not live up to any kind of expectations. So I was really hoping that this was going to be a solid film. One night I popped in Surrogate. Can I just tell you, this movie was so good. I highly recommend this film. And I'm not saying this because, oh my God, a director contacted me. I'm not saying this because, oh my God, I got a free movie. That's not the reason why I'm saying this. This movie is so well done. You would think that this was like an A24 film. That's the vibe I got from this movie. The basic plot line of this, there's like this little family, mother, daughter, brother, and mother of the aunt and uncle, like grandmother to the granddaughter. You know what I'm saying? So mom, daughter, grandmother, and brother. We got like this little family going on. And the mom in this movie, she's a nurse. She comes across this woman who is looking a little freaky and she's doing some weird stuff. Something happens to her where the nurse feels the need to intervene and gives her medical assistance. And after she does that, it's like an evil entity was passed from one woman to the other, because after the mom, who's the nurse, takes care of this patient, unfortunately, you know, she doesn't make it. That's not a spoiler. That's not a major thing about the movie. But this nurse, the mom, is experiencing weird encounters. There's something in her house. It's affecting their lives. It's affecting her daughter. And the ending of this movie knocked me for a loop. So I highly recommend this film, like, so much. It was so good. I really loved it. So I really want you guys to give this movie a chance. It's on Tubi, I believe, so you can stream it for free on Tubi, with some ads, of course. Or if you want to pick it up on Blu-ray, it is available through Walmart's website. So either way, if you want to buy it or stream it for free, then please give this movie a chance. It is called Surrogate. There we go. Great acting in this film. You know how some actors, it's like, kind of basic, not that great. We got some great acting in this film. So for a low budget independent movie, Surrogate feels like a big budget. Honestly, it feels like an A24 film. So I really do highly recommend this one. If you're looking for something different, something outside of the box, then there you go. Pick up Surrogate. All right, let's move on next to The Haunting of Julia. Okay, I picked up this one because it's another Scream Factory 4K upgrade. You know me, I'm upgrading those, picking up the slipcovers, blah, blah, blah. So, popped this in one night, fell asleep. I said, nope, I'm going to give it another chance. So I popped it in, I think 2 days later, gave it a watch. It's just okay. This one is very slow moving as well. I don't know what's with the slow moving movies lately, but this one moved pretty slow. However, it did keep my attention the second time around. Mia Farrow, not her best role, not the best movie I've seen her in. I've seen better, but she's just okay. The ending leaves you with a question. like, did this happen or did this happen? I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give anything away. I know a lot of people have said that the beginning of this movie is so horrific, with a child involved. So I was kind of cautious when I put this movie in because I'm not into watching that stuff. But what's so horrific? I mean, yes, it is a horrible circumstance, but I don't understand what's so horrific about the start of this movie. Am I talking about the right movie? Am I thinking of the right movie? I'm not sure, but I mean, it's mainly a ghost movie, but you're not seeing like too much. I don't know. There was just something lacking in this film for me. It could have been a little bit longer. It does run, I believe, what is it? Like 98 minutes. It could have been a little bit longer. Could have used a little bit more oomph in the middle, kind of to like explain. I don't know. I felt like it was lacking something and it needed just a little bit extra juice, if you know what I'm saying. But it's not a horrible watch. I'm happy I picked it up. I will watch it again, just not for a while. So I feel like with The Haunting of Julia, if you guys are interested in picking this one up, you don't need to pick it up right away. Wait for a sale. Okay. This one comes courtesy of Lionsgate, and this is Jesus Revolution. And I'm sure a lot of you are laughing right now because I watched Jesus Revolution. I am not a religious person. I don't go to church. I think the last time I went to church, I was like 10 years old or something. I believe in God. I believe there's a higher power, but I'm not a Bible thumper by any means. Like, no way. This topic I don't really gravitate towards on a regular basis, but you know what? If Lionsgate is going to send me something, I'm going to be open-minded and I'm going to watch it. Well, let me tell you something. I actually enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed it, and I'm not kidding. I'm not lying to you. I actually enjoyed this movie because it's based on true events about the largest like spiritual awakening, I believe in the 70s. Is when this takes place. Yes, in the 1970s. So this is based on true events. And you know me, I always love a movie that can drop some knowledge on my brain if I am learning something. So I can appreciate a movie that can do that for me. And this is not going to be for everyone. I'll say it right off the bat. I know certain personalities are not going to jive with this film, but considering this is a non-church going person and I enjoyed Jesus Revolution, you may surprise yourself and you may want to give it a try. So I'm not sure if I would blind buy this. Probably most likely wait for a sale if you're interested, but I enjoyed it. What can I say? And it even has Kelsey Grammer in it. And I'm saying I enjoyed it. I'm not the biggest fan of Kelsey Grammer, if you guys couldn't tell. But Jesus Revolution definitely surprised me. Okay. We are getting into some more recent new releases. So we have Operation Fortune, however you want to say it, with my man Jason Statham. You have Aubrey Plaza as well. You have Carrie Elways, Josh Hartnett, all-star cast here. Spy, thriller, movie kind of thing. So this one was a lot of fun, and I have to say right off the bat, the humor of this movie, either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. Either you're going to laugh your butt off like I was, or you're going to be like, is that funny? I enjoyed the movie. I had a good time with it. But if you don't really jive with this kind of sense of humor that like Guy Ritchie has, because he wrote the movie as well with two other people, I believe. It wasn't just him, but he co-wrote the movie as well. So if you're not jiving with the Guy Ritchie sense of humor, then this one may not be for you. I don't really have any major complaints about the film except for one. I wish there were more like fight action sequences in this movie, but there are some good ones. It looks great on 4K. Jason Statham, as always, looking yummy on screen. Aubrey Plaza kind of just plays herself, I gotta be honest, but it's a fun, good time. And if this one is a blind buy for you, if you're not like a hardcore Jason Statham fan like I am, and you gotta pick up everything, then you can wait for a sale on this one as well. But that one was fun. I had a good time. All right, let's talk about Shazam! Ooh, that was a little loud. All right, we have Shazam, Fury of the Gods. So I was very fortunate. Warner Brothers sent a couple of copies my way. We have the Icon Edition from Walmart, the exclusive, as well as the Shazam Fury of the Gods 4K Steelbook. So popped this one in, I would say about like 5 days ago. And a lot of people had a lot of negative things to say about Shazam 2. I'm just going to call it Shazam 2 just for shortness sake. A lot of negativity about this movie, but I gotta be honest, it's not that bad. It's not perfect. It's not the perfect movie. I don't think, unless you're like The Godfather or Gone with the Wind or something, like you're not even Gone with the Wind, you know, but like besides The Godfather, like there's no real perfect 5-star movies. They're very rare out there. And I feel like this movie was way overjudged and shunned because of the fact that James Gunn, taking over DC, publicly announced we're scrapping the entire DCEU as we know it, which this is a part of. And I feel like that affected the box office. And that's why it did not perform as well as we're used to superhero movies kind of performing. I mean, even Ant-Man 3 made like $400 million. I think this one made $135 million, and that's it. It performed horribly. But to be honest, it's not a bad movie. I feel because of the DC announcement, with the change and everything going on, cutting out the DCEU as we know it, that is what affected this film. So have an open mind. Watch this on HBO Max, maybe. I know I'm not promoting physical media by saying that, but if you don't, or Max, sorry, it's just Max. But if you don't want to spend the money on the physical, but you do want to watch it, and you have Max, stream it. Give it a watch. If you enjoy it, then pick up one of the options for physical media, because I am recommending it. I mean, if you have all the other DC movies, you might as well pick up Shazam 2 as well. Especially if you have the first one, you might as well pick up the second one. It's kind of like a bubblegum pop movie. You just have fun with it. Mindless entertainment. You know what? Let's just move on. All right. After some positive reviews, I have to get to a negative. Oh, baby. Oh, my gosh. Okay. I am not going in at length about this movie. I'm just pointing out the obvious. The one good thing about this is the Steelbook. The Steelbook looks great. Okay. The Steelbook looks fantastic. This is another Walmart exclusive Steelbook looking great. Do I recommend this? No. The movie itself, I do not recommend that you pick this up. If you collect Steelbooks and you have no intention on watching the movie, go ahead and pick it up. Add it into your collection to just look at. But if you even think about cracking this open and watching the movie, don't even bother, because this movie is horrible. First of all, the movie starts, if you're not familiar with Miami Vice, if you're of like a younger generation, you don't even know anything about Miami Vice. You don't know the TV show that came like decades earlier. So you have no prior history of these characters. And when the movie starts, they kind of just drop you into a situation with no past explanation whatsoever of who these characters are, what they're doing, what anything is about. It's a giant cluster of all the storyline. And I gotta be honest, I fell asleep during this one too because I was bored. This movie bored the shit out of me. And also, it looks terrible. And is this Mill Creek? Yes, this is Mill Creek. And I'm probably gonna get like negative responses from Mill Creek, but this thing looks horrible. The entire opening sequence is fuzzy looking. It looks really bad. We're talking like a DVD quality, like VHS. Like, this looks horrible. Really, really, really bad. Then there's some points later on in the movie, the picture looks better and it looks like a regular Blu-ray. Okay, I can see clearly, but it doesn't make up for the fact that I'm completely lost with this film. There's so much happening. The characters, I'm not invested. I could care less. Like, they just don't set you up for success with this movie. So don't buy this. Like I said, don't buy this. Avoid this as much as possible unless you just plan on getting this and staring at the Steelbook. Then pick it up. Other than that, I can't say that I recommend it. Avoid it. Avoid it when you can. Let's move on next to Knock at the Cabin 4K. So I actually went to the theater to see this. M. Night Shyamalan, again, coming back with another movie. Last year, he gave us Old. That wasn't that great. And then we have Knock at the Cabin. So I wanted to give him another chance because I think we're all rooting for M. Night Shyamalan to kind of make a comeback and have a success like The Sixth Sense, because he hasn't been able to reach that since. I guess he's come a little bit close with a couple of movies, but I haven't watched those ones yet. So Knock at the Cabin, I wanted to pick this one up because I enjoyed it in the theater. There's a couple of nitpicks that I do have with the movie. 4K transfer looks nice. However, I don't think there's anything super spectacular about the transfer where you couldn't just buy the Blu-ray. You know what I mean? So if you bought the Blu-ray, that's probably going to be fine for you. I just prefer the 4K nowadays, and out of habit, I just go for the 4K. But if you're fine with the Blu-ray, then you're going to be fine with it, most likely. So where this movie kind of fails for me is you kind of want more gore and more blood, because there's a few parts in this film, like in the middle, where like horrific things are happening. I don't want to give anything away if you haven't seen the movie yet, but horrific things are happening, but you're not really seeing anything. So I wish there was kind of more blood, more gore, and the ending. The endings are where M. Night Shyamalan cannot get it together. It seems like he gives us this great opening concept. We're riding the wave with him. We're really digging it. And then the last like 10 minutes of the movie, kind of like just ends on a whimper. It's not super fantastic, but I mean, I wanted to pick it up because I did enjoy the movie up until the ending. There could have been a little bit more. The movie kind of seems a little bit repetitive in the middle. I will say that. So you almost my hand keeps showing, sorry. You almost kind of get bored, but then something saves it. So I don't know. I'm like on and off with this. It's like I like the movie, but then I find complaints about it. So if you're kind of like me, on and off, you could always stream this on Peacock because it's currently available for streaming on Peacock. And if you do enjoy it, then you can pick up the 4K or the Blu-ray. I do recommend it as a watch though. Overall, I do recommend that you watch it at some point. Okay, we are getting to our most recent new releases. So we have Shooter on 4K. Really enjoyed this one. Great 4K transfer. The picture looked fantastic. There's several scenes that are outside. We're in the woods. We're in the snow. And it just looks great. So the 4K is looking fantastic. The plot line itself of the movie, really enjoyed it as well. You have Mark Wahlberg here, who is in the military. He's retired. He was like an assassin type in the military. You know, a shooter. You know what I'm talking about. Title of the movie. All right. So he's recruited by, what's his name? Oh my God. I'm spacing out on his name. Oh my God. What's his name? Danny Glover. Danny Glover recruits him to do an assignment for him. And what happens is that Mark Wahlberg gets framed for what he was recruited for, the assignment. So it's all about him trying to figure out what's happening, clearing his name, surviving the situation. This was a great, good time. I had a lot of fun watching this one. It runs about 2 hours, and I highly recommend that you get it. Either slipcover, because there's no steelbook option. That's the other one. I thought there was a steelbook. No, pick up the slipcover. I believe it's still $19.99 over on Best Buy's website. So definitely worth the full price pickup. I will say that. So definitely don't miss out on Shooter. It's got a very nice slipcover on it. Very entertaining movie because I'd never seen that one before. So I really enjoyed it. All right, here's the one with the steelbook option, but I chose the slipcover, and that is The Italian Job. Again, we have Mark Wahlberg. all-star cast. We have Charlize Theron. We have another Jason Statham movie. We have Edward Norton, Seth Green. This one was a lot of fun. Enjoyed this one as well. You have this entire group of criminals, and they're pulling off this job in Italy. And unfortunately, something happens. There's a twist, and chaos ensues. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say because I don't want to spoil anything. Even though it's an older film, but if you've never seen it before, I don't want to spoil it for you. But this was a very entertaining movie. It held my attention. Again, the 4K transfer looking fantastic. Really nicely well done. So I highly recommend you pick up The Italian Job right away as well. If you're a fan of Mark Wahlberg, Charlize, Jason Statham, you don't have this, definitely add it into your collection. And I like the slipcover because I love the yellow popping. It just really looks awesome. So pick up that slipcover. $19.99, can't beat it. Okay, the final item that we're going to talk about, that we're going to discuss, is the Superman box set. That's right. I spent the last 4 days binging the Superman box set because I wanted to watch all the movies. In fact, I even watched the Donner cut to get ready for this video. So, okay, let's break this down. It's a very nice looking box set, as you guys can see. Individuals, no slipcovers. But we have all of the individual movies. There we go, looking nice with their covers. You guys can see. Okay, so let's go in order of movie, shall we? So we have Superman, the movie. I enjoyed it. First of all, it's been forever since I've seen any of the Superman films. I don't believe I've ever seen part 3 in my entire life. I remembered bits and pieces of Superman 4 for some reason. I remembered them from last night when I was watching it. I was kind of having a flashback. It was really weird. And then obviously 1 and 2, I remember bits and pieces as well. But overall, I haven't seen these movies in probably 30 years. So this was a time trip watching these movies again after so long. So Superman the movie, obviously the original. I will say, as far as the 4K transfer, this one was not the best. There were some parts of the movie, it looked very hazy. Like there was kind of like a gloss over the 4K for some reason. Some parts looked okay, some parts didn't. But this one is probably, I would say, the best out of the box set because it is the original film. Then we have Superman 2. We have the Donner cut here, the Richard Donner cut or the original cut. I watched both of them back to back in one night. And I think I prefer the Donner cut. I really do, because the beginning of the movie just made a lot more sense to me, because in the beginning of Superman 2, not the Donner cut, they have to make this stupid excuse about this event happening in Paris with a bomb, whereas in the Donner cut, they took the ending of Superman 1 and linked it into Superman 2, the Donner cut. So that just made a lot of sense, and it just flowed better, if you know what I mean. And I believe, if I remember, both 4K transfers look decent. They look better than the first movie. All right, now we're getting into the not so good part of the Superman box set. This is so bad. This is the right one, right? Yeah. Superman 3 is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. There's a lot of elements in this movie that just don't make any sense. First of all, you don't have Lois Lane. You have Lois in here for about 5 minutes total, and that's because Margot Kidder, the actress who played Lois Lane, had an opinion about Richard Donner not returning to direct after Superman 2. And so the producers wanted to punish her. I looked all this up on IMDb, so if you want to look it up too, it's over there. The producers of the movie punished her by taking away her part and having her only have like 12 lines or something. So we have no Lois. We have Lana instead, who was Clark's crush from like Smallville back in high school. This movie is all over the place. You have Richard Pryor, who's like unemployed and almost homeless in the very beginning of the movie, and then all of a sudden he's like this computer genius that's like hacking and stealing money, like thousands of dollars from this company that he's working at. There's no Lex Luthor, there's no Gene Hackman in this movie at all whatsoever. So you have an alternative villain. What's his name? Robert Vaughn, I think. What? Yeah, Robert Vaughn is in here as the villain. You have these two chicks that are like kind of the pseudo villains that are with him. Horrible. This movie is so bad. This is the worst of the box set. I will say that. It looks okay, but it's not a great movie. It's horrible. One of the worst I've ever seen. I'm not kidding. And finally, we have Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, that I watched last night. Christopher Reeve himself, who played Superman, even said this movie is horrible. But I will say that this movie is better than Superman 3. I think anything from the box set is better than Superman 3. At least we have Lois Lane back in this movie. Gene Hackman is also back as Lex Luthor. John Cryer's in this movie as Lex Luthor's nephew for some reason. He's just like tossed in there. I mean, this movie is totally ridiculous as well. But you know what? It's better than Superman 3. So overall, do I recommend that you pick up the Superman box set after all of that? Well, I will say if you are a die-hard Superman fan, if Christopher Reeve was your Superman and no one else, yes, definitely pick this up and add it into your collection. However, for the everyday person, for younger people out there that aren't really 100% attached to Christopher Reeve or these movies at all, I would say hold off. You don't need this box set because it's pretty bad when only 50% of your box set are decent movies, if you know what I'm saying, because 3 is horrible and 4 really isn't that strong either. So yeah, you don't necessarily need to pick up the Superman box set, but if you're a hardcore Superman fan or Christopher Reeve, then there you go. Definitely pick it up. So those are all of the brand new releases that I've been watching lately. Have I bored you yet? Good thing we are done. So comment down below and let me know your thoughts about any of these brand new releases. Do you agree with me about them? Don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you next time.